I cannot scroll through social media without being annoyed at this. There's this thing. Remember when girls used to have conversations with each other and they'd be convincing their friend about the myriad of reasons a guy wouldn't get back in touch, sort of decoding the signs, kind of like this.
What about extenuating circumstances? What about you're stressed out, you're on deadline, you have a migraine? Or a lot of guys are afraid of getting their feelings hurt and they don't want to ruin a friendship. Or they're freaked out by their own feelings.
Right. Now, with the help of these social media therapists, they can diagnose him, which is obviously much more appealing for a variety of reasons. TikTok therapists, they talk as if every adult has their own style, their own attachment style.
Try and answer these 5 questions on your attachment styles in relationships.
And it simply needs to be identified, and it stems from childhood.
Attachment styles come from your parents, but there's an anxious attachment style where it's just like, I'm insecure, I'm needy, give me reassurance, oh, is this going to end? There's the avoidant attachment style, it's just like, back off, babe, I don't want to talk about emotions, you're coming on way too strong.
Now, here's the thing. Attachment theory is all well and good. I'm for it. I think it's a great theory. It was meant for children. It was designed on children. John Bowlby was talking about how infants bond with caregivers. It was about literal dependence, a child's survival. And that survival is obviously tied to the proximity of a parent. Then decades later, it was extended into adulthood, where they sort of suggest that romantic love can mirror the bonds you had in childhood.
He still hasn't responded to me. He probably hates me. I'm gonna text him.
And I can see the appeal in this. I'm sure you can too. It's very reassuring to think that every failure, every disappointment can be retraced back to someone else's failure to soothe us rather than our own responsibility to grow. What they leave out is that attachment research itself shows the opposite of what these TikTok therapists claim. They suggested that there were several ways of correcting failure of these early bonds. And it is just way too simplified to think that we are these linear extensions of our childhood wounds. We're capable of repair, of maturity, of self-regulation, but that assumes the responsibility to make that happen.
Anxiously attached individuals will often seek reassurance and validation from their partner. So you've got to be patient and you've got to be understanding with your partner's need for that reassurance. Reassure them of your love and commitment regularly and communicate your support and availability.
This idea that you have to find your style, as in I have to find my identity.
Put a finger down, anxious attachment edition. Put a finger down if you've ever sent a text because you didn't get a response within 5 minutes.
This is another example of how we are so eager to treat adults like infants, because there are fundamental differences between children and adults. They don't have autonomy or choice, insight. So to treat grown-up relationships as mere replays of childhood dynamics is to infantilize adulthood, which we really seem increasingly eager to do, especially women.
We're fearful avoidant attachers. If love isn't a fairy tale, is it even worth it?
Reducing an adult's emotional life to a fixed style based on infancy, that isn't insight. This regression.
I get really upset when mom and dad are too busy for me, but they taught me about big feelings. So I know that when I have a sad part, I have to cuddle things and do things that I like, and then they'll come back and tell me they love me, so I know I'm safe to relax.
We need to stop infantilizing women and pathologizing men. And I don't know if you noticed this, but there's a quiet hypocrisy here that needs to be pointed out. And it's in how these labels are used. If the same woman who diagnoses a man as avoidant, because he's not engaging as much as she'd like.
Stop letting your shitty boyfriend off the hook for his shitty behavior because he has an avoidant attachment style.
Let's say she went on a date with someone that she wasn't really that excited about, but she did it anyway, and so she's slower to text, slower to reciprocate. We would just call her disinterested, and we would applaud her for keeping an open mind and being open to love. But when the dynamic reverses, he's pathologized. What is so easily labeled avoidant attachment style in men is often, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that it is often how it feels to be with someone who isn't equally invested.
I'm not going to sugarcoat it for you. He's just not that into you.
But what pop psychology does, it reinforces this sense of victimhood in women, this tendency we have to pathologize men's behavior. And it turns these ordinary mismatches into moral hierarchies where women's needs are clinical evidence and men's needs, men's boundaries are symptoms. And like, I get it. Calling someone avoidant, narcissistic, emotionally unavailable, it's empowering. We are diagnosing a problem. It's much easier to intellectualize disappointment than to deal with rejection.